Right, Tam, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. How you doing?
Hey, how are you, Adam? Lovely to be here.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast, and I'm really grateful to have you here. And I just thought I'd introduce you because you're very much into coaching and helping people gain more intuition and connect with themselves and achieve goals. And like, where did you kind of get into this? How did it kind of unfold for you? And what you doing?
Um, I was very blessed to initially have a career with Qantas, our national carrier here in Australia. And I had various roles in the airline, and I particularly loved my flying part of my career. And I got to know um, our customers, our passengers very well, in that I particularly worked first in business class. So I got to know how a CEO, a top, chairman of a group thinks. And it was so in line and enlightening to some of the business undertakings that I was doing at the same time. So I was only flying part-time. And it led me to get in touch. So I predominantly coach males, enlightening them into their spiritual, their health, their mindset, and their energetic ways of doing life. And how it came apart, definitely my flying career, I saw such a disconnect in these people who were traveling, particularly corporates, how disconnected they were from their souls. And then I also had a part-time business in the oil and gas industry at the same time with a business in Thailand. And it started to really be highlighted to me because I went to a number of conferences in oil and gas. I started to put the dots together of the soulless life that men in particularly lead particularly in very high positions. And I'm now in the medical industry. And again, the pattern just keeps coming up. It's like they're on a hamster wheel that they can't get off. It's like they are so disconnected from their true purpose. It's like they have been almost thrown from school into these degrees, and then they almost follow the collective of what a man should actually do, and don't ever explore greater purposes that are deep desires that sit in their hearts, because they of course become the breadwinners. And I just felt their pain. I'm very intuitive, some would almost say psychic. And then I was nudged by, I suppose, the universe, source, God, to start coaching, start showing men another way of doing life. And I am thriving because, as you should appreciate, in COVID chaos, there is a great opening up now of people's consciousness of do life differently. There's a new operating system of now doing life, relationships, money, love in a completely different way. And I honestly believe if you're not connected with yourself, the clarity of who you truly be, how can you be connected deeply with another? And it's with deep connection, a deep relationship is the way you thrive. You have sales that are effortless. You create wealth above your competitor because you're able to deeply use your intuitive side of you, that deep soul of yours, to connect with another deeply. And with that, of course, you make sales effortless. Of course, your business and your CEO leadership expands and explodes. And it's just a matter of you connecting to you, that person that you've forgotten, who has always been in there, that has a deep knowing of how life truly works.
Yeah, no, I really agree with you. And I think like what you said with the career that you had in, working within the airline company and seeing these officials and, very high up corporate people, like that, especially like in males, as you said, that to be in that position and to, handle those stresses and to, I suppose, be back and forth a lot and that workload and, that kind of life for some people, the way they might handle it. Because a lot of that, they'll be working a hell of a lot. And, you know, you saw something in certain people in certain positions, how they think and behave and what they do. And it's such an important, place to be in yourself, isn't it? You have, if you're in that position, you need to be, at least enjoying your life and be kind of, congruent within yourself. And I think, like, especially in men, a lot of men sometimes don't talk about certain things. They just kind of get on with it and bury their head in the sand. And that's, no way to live, is it really? And like you said, I think with this kind of COVID and through the work that you do, it's helping people to really kind of tap into, who they are and to, to grow and seek the right help, if that makes sense.
100%. And my great vision in the work that I'm doing is that I honestly believe a truly successful, inclusive company will have enormous success if they can embrace now the spiritual, the energetic side of our consciousness. I honestly believe if organizations can now help their employees untap who they truly be, whether it be a spiritual program in their organizations, whether it be a type of meditational, a type of environment, even if it's just 15 minutes a day. Imagine if employees went into an environment within the company where they not, yes, we know some large corporations have gyms and people can go and do exercise programs, but imagine if we tap more into this mindfulness, this meditational type, getting to know yourself very deeply, perhaps breath work, a completely different way of doing business, a business loving, a business, I suppose, coaching, development of your employees, an area you've never thought about. In other words, be the pioneer in your organization that completely has an open attitude to embrace these type of modalities into your organization and allow your employee to know themselves deeply, and you will see how co-creative and how much more communication and connection will happen in your organization, that especially if they learn the energetic part of it, how our energy, when it's raised, our frequency is raised at such a high vibration, how it has such an on-flow effect into even a sales call or a target that an employee has to reach. If they know that they are so supported by source, the universe, plus their company, it has such a profound effect to create such enormous success in sales, in coming together, where you're not working on a competitive plane anymore. You're working on a co-creation, a collaborative way. And it's just going to be natural. Your potential clients and customers will just fall in love with the energetic frequency, the magnetic state that your employees have every day, because they tuned in, tapped in, and super guided by their own intuition as to who is right for their company, who's going to love their products. Not only that, they will love selling your products because they'll have a why behind the products. It's a completely different way of doing business. And I believe if companies can come on board with this type of thinking, And just imagine now the CEO earns millions, but I know these CEOs and they fret about the money they earn because they feel they have to run their organizations in fear. They have to run their organizations in a very egocentric way because one, they have to follow the paradigm, the beliefs that a CEO has to run the organization like a tight ship. It has to monitor the employees so no one's doing the wrong thing. It has to make sure everyone is adhering to their rules. But imagine if the CEO just was able to let go of the control of their employees, but trusting them, loving on them. Oh, this is a different type of CEO. This is an organization that these upcoming new generations will just want to be working for. It's just a different way of doing life. And we have an opportunity now to do it, try it. Because why? I'd love my CEOs and chairmen of the group not to fret, but just to know all is well. And the money they are earning is because they are worthy of it. They don't have to do more. In fact, they can do less with trusting of the people underneath them. And they are so worthy of the money they're earning without the egocentric behaviors that encumber that CEO role.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And I think someone said to me once, if you look after your employees, they'll look after you, kind of thing. And I think, some people and some businesses kind of get that mixed up sometimes. And that's when they encounter problems. And it's kind of, things from the top up kind of fall down to the bottom, don't they? They kind of leak into the business. And that person who's the people at the top need to, be very balanced in themselves, and they need to, take care of themselves. And I think, like you said, especially, with energy and, spirituality, mindfulness, this is kind of becoming more widespread, I think, in, a lot of corporate environments. A lot of people are, introducing mindfulness courses, or they're doing, yoga and these certain things. And I think it's really key that you mentioned that people feel valued in their work, and their employer and the CEO cares about them, knows them. And if you're not happy in a job, you're not going to work efficiently. It's going to it all kind of everything connects. If people feel valued, and the boss, the CEO, or whoever it is that's managing them, cares about their energy and their spiritual state as well, because it all has an interplay in, I think, how people behave and work. And I think, like what you said with CEOs, I think sometimes some companies or some people might worry about their finances. They're making a lot of money and kind of hesitate where it's going to go and how things are going to run. And I think if you've got that kind of rigidness, that's going to probably put more pressure on the people working for the company. All kind of leaks in, doesn't it? And I think it's especially important. I think especially now, I think with COVID, people want a lot of assurance, and a lot of people want to feel safe and valued in their job, because ultimately a lot of people spend a lot of time in work. So I think it's an overall good outcome to be happy in what you do. It kind of works both ways, doesn't it? I think.
Look, everyone wants to feel, valued, seen, and heard. It's as simple as that. And particularly, I mean, now we've been in isolation for such a long time from each other. So it's a new era of doing life differently. We are the frontier people, tribe now. And I honestly believe we are called, if anyone who's listening on your podcast and listens in, particularly on this one, or any people listening on your podcast, they are soul aligned. They are drawn to you because there's information or insights that they need to learn from that particular conversation, or as you clearly are so successful at this, Adam, you are a gift and your tribe find you effortlessly. And that's just energy. It's this energetic frequency that we all operate under, through. It works through us, for us, around us. We're just energy. And just because you can't see it, taste it, actually hear it, just the five senses, don't ever underestimate how powerful energy is around us. And I honestly, I even coach some of my CEOs to, they can't believe it works, but I actually get them to pre-pay meetings with their clients and to actually send almost like their energy prior into a room and almost speak to, almost like the souls, their clients are sitting in the meeting already, and how they'd like it to go, how they would like the outcome, what they would love, once the meeting's concluded, signing contracts, what it would look like. And I get them to actually do it before they go into a very important meeting, and they come out and go, it was just so effortless, Tam. I mean, I did what you said. I did all the work prior, and I went in there and I didn't even need to explain A, B, and C. They just loved who I was and what I was presenting, and away we went. And I said, yes, because we don't realize how we're just energetic beings living a human experience. And we haven't even tapped into how powerful our energetic frequency is. And I love to encourage my, my clients, and particularly these top players, how to do it differently. And they are astounded by the results, because it's things they've never played with or done, because they've always followed a strategy or process based on their education, or based on what the collective, what everyone else says they should do. But imagine if you shift your self-limiting beliefs, those beliefs, into not just a positive, but an idea that it's a done deal, that it's happened. And I love people to lean into setting goal cards where they claim, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am making this amount of money as CEO of this company, and my income has expanded, yearly or monthly by this amount. I really tap in, and I make it so much of a repetition process that their subconscious starts to believe it. And it's science, it's proven. And I love books like Joseph Murphy, The Science of Getting Rich, and Think Yourself, into Rich Results. Anything by Joseph Murphy. I believe those are the titles. I mean, I've read them years ago, but they anchor into you just how powerful your subconscious mind is. And we need to tap into that. We have the opportunities now. We've always had them, but even more now, that it's just open for you to reprogram your mind. And you'd be mad if you didn't, because if you do it now and you get into those self-limiting beliefs and where you're stuck and telling that old story, you change it to the person you wish to become, in the vision you're creating, and a big vision. You have an imagination, you dream big, real big, and you just watch how the universe, God, spirit, brings you the opportunities, brings you the people, brings you the networks for you to play in.
Yeah.
I just love this work. I love talking about it, and I love doing it. And I am a person who's achieved so much in such a short time, and people are welcome to look at me on LinkedIn, and it's all because I reprogrammed my mind, and I got into knowing and leaning into my energetic frequency, and how important it is to maintain it at such a high frequency all the time. It's not a part-time job, it's a full-time job. But my God, the results are so worth it.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I really resonate with what you said. And I think, when you talk about energy and frequency and, our subconscious mind and, imagination and, how we're all connected and how, like a lot of people, have so much within them. And, you mentioned your, CEOs that you work with, putting out that frequency, before you're in that situation, if that makes sense. So putting out those, seeing that situation, if you have to, I don't know, deliver a presentation, putting that energy into it. It's like if you know, I remember when I was like doing a job one time, I didn't like too much, and I would dread kind of going to that job. So I would take that frequency with me into that job, and then for the first couple of hours, I'd be miserable. And it's like if you're sending out those intentions into that situation, you're going to bring that with you. So if people putting in that positive frequency that they're going to do really well, or they're going to, whether that's a podcast or an interview or whatever, you're going to carry that with you. People are going to pick up on that. People are going to see that. So, I really agree with you with that. And, I think it's just great what you're doing and the work that you're doing as well, and that you're helping people, and it's something that you're passionate about. And, you're proof of, the things that you're talking about, like you said, you've excelled very quickly within a certain period of time. And, like energy and frequency, and it's something that, it's self-discipline. You have to be very disciplined, what you attach yourself to, don't you? Your energy, the things that you read. And I think, people, like you said, if they can get it now, then they can start working on it and, really put it into practice, because you have to put it into practice, don't you? You have to be very conscious of what and you have to know what you want and why, and break that down and put that into play.
If I cannot encourage people to know who they truly are. And as you lean into the clarity of your magnificence and why you are here, you align with the spirit and the energy world. And you have so much support and love and nurturing and prompting and nudging from the spirit energy world to keep you unpacking you. And the more you unpack you and face your shadow as well, the more you are able to bring into your life anything that you wish. Absolutely anything. And I have manifested, but I actually don't say manifest, I actually say actualized. It's such a more powerful, grounding word. I've actualized so much of what I've desired in my life over so many times. I am a conviction of what I speak about. And as I said, it's not, you unpacking the old you, the way you think in lack and fear and shame and guilt, unpacking that cloud that surrounds you and reprogramming your mind will bring you everything you want in your life, without a doubt, without a doubt. But it's work. And it is work where the results are just so soul aligned. They allow you to know why you are here. Because the person you become in these big visions, in these big goals, that is the fulfillment of your soul and why you're here. Yes, we all want the multi-million-dollar homes and cars or a lot of money, because with a lot of money, you can do great things. That's what I honestly believe. You can do great things for uplifting, evolving others. But it's the person you become in that journey. Now that is the greatest fulfillment of your soul. That is living your legacy now and not waiting. That is key to why you're here.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's not just for you, it's for everyone. So as you unpack you and you discover how good and great you truly are, your value of you allows others to see the value in themselves as well, to also take this path, this leap of faith on themselves. And then we come together to co-create and expand and just make this world a better place.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think, like what you mentioned, with people, like people can go through lots of different things in their lives and they can maybe be in a not so good place, but people can really shift and change if they really want to. And like you said, like that unpacking, owning what's going on, kind of owning, your stuff. And, even if you've been through certain things, to deal with that. And, you can use all that as, like, you can use that experience to kind of push you forward and help other people and to see it as, motivation to achieve X, Y, Z. I think sometimes if you go through certain things in your life, it gives you that drive in that push because you've been in X, Y, Z place, and that's what's pushing you to then get to, to the next. And, there's a lot of growth in, in hard or difficult times. There's a lot of kind of, even though people might not see it at the time, but you see a lot of successful people sometimes who've been through horrific things, and they've not been in that victim mentality, or if they once were, they're out of that and they're using that, to push them forward. And that doesn't, they're not letting that, almost define them to be that thing, whatever that they may have gone through. And I think, we need to, like you said, unpack whatever it is that, we may be in, or something that's going on, and to use that as a driving force and to have a good life. And we, we're all worthy of that, as you mentioned. And by you doing that, it creates these ripples that other people may want to do something similar, or to do well. And I think you see that in many paths, many walks of life. A lot of people, I think, especially who are maybe music artists or actors, have come from a lot of deprived areas, and they're doing well, and it gives people who may be in that place, or they can relate to that person because they were once, or they're from where they're from, if that makes sense. So it does definitely create that ripple effect, and people have that faith restored in them that I can do this because that person's been through XYZ and they came from XYZ. So it's quite powerful when you think about it, isn't it?
Look, I honestly believe, and I'll relate it to my flying and my years with Qantas. We have what I call a spiritual frequent flyer program, and the destination is our life. And you have a choice by you unpacking and knowing more of you and addressing your self-limiting beliefs and changing them, to travel first class, to have a first class limitless life. You have that choice. And we are all on this, in this spiritual program, the spiritual frequent flyer program. And some of us have certain points in certain areas already. And some of those areas may be hardships, but my goodness, you have a lot to give by owning that hardship and becoming a new version of yourself. Because when you become a new version of yourself, you are also allowing someone who's further down the spiritual frequent flyer program to encourage them to go to the next level and the next level, because we're all connected. That we are all connected. We're all energetic beings living a human experience, and we are souls here evolving. And if we come from that place and we embrace and help each other and co-create, and your greatest gift while you're here is to serve in your talents, your crafts, and what you love doing, you will always make money with that. Always, always, always. Because you serving in that, you also get the spirit and the energy world loving on you and supporting you, because you're doing why you came here. And it's a different way. It's just a different way that I'd love the collective to think about now more than any time. There are opportunities surrounding you that you couldn't imagine, but you can't see them where you are now, because all you can see is the perspective based on your perception, and that is coming from your self-limiting beliefs. You remove those self-limiting beliefs, you change them, and my God, it's like a whale coming along and shifting you in above the ocean, and you will begin to see just how much choice you actually do have, and how many opportunities surround you now to generate, create, and actualize massive amounts of wealth, abundance for yourself. But you just have to know the real you and change those self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I it's so true, isn't it? And I think, those limiting beliefs, and people's beliefs and their paradigms and the thoughts they think, and the way they see the world is like how you see yourself, isn't it? And if people are in that place, then if they're thinking that, they're going to attract that. And people have so much within them, and like you talk about spirituality, and doing what you love, and that spiritual spirit, supporting you and loving it and what you're doing, because like you said, we're all here for a purpose, and we should all be driving towards that. Like, why are we here? And and we're capable of so much more, and driving forward with that and acting upon that, and reaching that place. And I think, like you said, sometimes at the time people don't understand. Like, I think sometimes if you're in a certain situation, for me, I would get frustrated being in certain places, but when you connect the dots back, if that makes sense, you can kind of see why you had to go in that place and why you had to go through that to then get to this place. And I think as long as you're kind of looking forward, you can then kind of start putting those segments in place, if that makes sense. And I think people, like you said, we have so much within us and so much potential. It's just kind of like tapping into that. And I think it's great with the work that you do. You help people to do that, and how rewarding that must be to see those shifts in people, in what they do. Yeah.
And it really is for everyone listening in. It's just a decision. It's a decision that you make today. You make an irrevocable, committed decision to you, to get to know you, and get to know you on a much deeper level, and to start using your imagination. And it's not just, oh, I just want to make an extra, £500 next month. No, I encourage my clients to dream way bigger than they ever have. How about making an extra £10,000 this month? And you don't worry about the how. You focus on the feeling. The quantum field responds to the feeling, the energetic frequency that is so high that you emit, that it will match what you need to make that vision come through. It's a feeling, and it's visualization, it's journaling, it's it's life scripting. There's so many tools I use with my clients. I get them to fall in love with money. Money's your friend. I get them to fall in love with, the currency. It's why I called currency and connection, the value in connection. But you as a infinite being have your own currency. You are responsible for you, and you create your own currency, and it can be massive. But it starts with a decision that you make for you. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to do this work for you. You have to do this for yourself, but it's so worth it. Find the currency, the very lucrative currency that is sitting in you. And you've all got it. And you all have these talents, gifts, crafts you haven't even tapped into yet, but you will when you get to know you.
No, that's definitely it, and I love that, and I think like what you said, you have to really get to know you and tap into that, and until people start doing that, then they can make those necessary steps, and it's so important, isn't it? And everything all kind of connects into everything, and I think money, like a lot of people sometimes get told, money's this, money's that, and then they absorb that and they take that forward, and you have to really see that money is your friend if you want it to be, and it's a tool, and it's all a lot of it is your mindset and the way you see it, and through especially working with you, people can really engage and shift in that. And I was just thinking, just to round up, like you mentioned a few books earlier, like do you have any other favorite books that you have in mind, you can think of?
Well, I love anything to do with the subconscious mind. So, and of course, anything like with Catherine Ponder, some of the older type authors have definitely stirred my interest. And as I said, anything by Joseph Murphy, I've absolutely loved. I also love access consciousness, another modality with the two leaders in that are Dr. Dane Here and Gary Douglas. I love any of their books. One particularly I love of Gary Douglas is Money's Not the Problem, You Are. So I love access consciousness. And of course, I've thrived, and I love any books by Abraham Hicks. That's Esther and Jerry Hicks. I mean, they keep you on track. And really, there's no excuse in every moment of your day where you can have access to podcasts, listening to people like you to keep you on a high vibration, or you could type in things like Abraham Hicks fear, or today could be negative people at work, or and it's these. They are they were very instrumental, in their times, to tap into this quantum way of living, this vortex of infinite possibilities, and yet we have access to them every day as a tool to keep us in high vibration. So you can listen to Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks YouTubes at any moment of your day when you're feeling a low vibration, and get yourself moved up in the vibrational scale. And I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. His way of creating a lifestyle around this constant living your energetic frequency in this high vibration through his meditations and his teachings. I mean, the list just goes on, and they keep me on track. We all have our bad days. This is true, because we're human. But when you start to do this work, you don't stay long in there, because your vibration matters, more importantly, because it's aligning with your massive vision you have for your life. And you're never too late to start this work, ever, ever. And I often tell my clients who are whinging and complaining and not wanting to do the work, well, I'm making you 80 today. And they go, what do you mean? You're 80 today? You're in good health, but you're 80. And they go, but what do you mean I'm 80? I said, well, you've only got if you're lucky, 20 years left. So what are you going to do with your life? It propels them like you wouldn't believe into shifting out of that negative state and like, my goodness, you're right. What do I need to do? I need to get on with my life and make the changes and get on. Because literally, you can be 80 in a blink. So show up now. Show up now, and it's never too late.
No, definitely. I love that. And I think it's so true, like I think people, really, I think when they think of it like that and they look at time and you involve time, people really can't, wake up and shift and act upon what they need to do. And I think, like the books sound really great as well. Like Jot's Jodie Spencer, I've heard good things about, and I really appreciate, sharing, those authors and the books that you like to read. And I just want to say, I'm so grateful, to be able to do this with you and to be connected with you and to be friends. And it really means a lot to me. And I value and appreciate, everything that you're doing and, everything that you are as a person. It's really, really, really special, and I just appreciate you and everything that you do. And where can people find you on, social media, your website, that kind of thing?
Adam, first of all, I want to say the value that you get from me and that you receive me is so, it's a fulfillment to my soul. But you, at the same time, you add value to me because you're receiving me. So our value, if people could see this, the value, the co-creation, it works retrospectively, of course. And I'm so grateful, and thank you for having me on your podcast. And I've fallen in love with your authenticity, the fact that you're so real. You're the real you. You sit in your car, you love on people daily, and you just inspire people into the greatness of who they truly be. And I just love you for that, because you're doing God's work. You're doing your soul work. And I'm so grateful we found each other.
Yeah.
And if people wish to come into my world, I'd love them to be in my world. My Instagram tag is Currency in Connection. And if you wish to follow me on LinkedIn, it's Tam Pluckrose. And I'm a little bit on Facebook, but it's not my preferred platform. And I am on Clubhouse as well. And I go into many rooms in the medical space and also in the mindset rooms, and just share whatever I can to inspire others to be in who they truly are, a gift to us all.
No, I love that. And, I'm just so grateful, and I really appreciate, what you said about, everything that I'm doing as well. And it really means a lot, and I appreciate your support. And, I just think it's great that we can do this, and it really means a lot to me. And I'll put all your links in the bio so people can find all your content as well. And, I just appreciate you for who you are, and just keep up all the awesome work and what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And everyone is destined for enormous success if they just take a chance on themselves. And definitely. You are destined for enormous success, Adam. I just know that with my heart and soul.
No, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And I just think like you said, people need to act upon, their intuition and what they really feel within them, and to align themselves with that and go with that. And I just appreciate your support so much. It really, really, means a lot to me. And I'm grateful we can do this, and I look forward to more.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. You take care. Thank you.
See you. Thanks, Adam.
See you soon.
Thank
You're welcome.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.